We made it. We are here. It's Wednesday. It's 5:30-ish, close, depending on which clock you're looking at. I'm very excited because while that intro was going, I thought of something that I think is clever. So we'll get here in a second. Welcome to episode 68 of Prep Talk Live. I'm Casey with Cascadia Dispatch, and joining me as always in his pumpkin spice traffic cone over there, it is Tup, the urban prepper. Tup, what is going on? How are things in your world? What's going on?
Just working and getting ready to go back to school. We had the first day of school today, and I run the chess club at the school, and so I did a recruiting event for try to recruit some new kids to join the chess club. Oh my gosh, Sutton stays.
Oh wait, she's here. She's here. Oh man. Okay.
I'm gonna unbutton one. It's a little hot. Okay, there we go. I unbutton one. So, what was I saying?
I thought you were gonna button one because it would be more formal, but no, that's not how we roll here.
This is hot. It's getting popping my collar.
Yeah.
Sorry. But yeah, keeping busy with school and gearing back up for the fall. So that's been kind of the focus this week.
Oh my goodness. That is fantastic. We also had first day of school earlier this week. We had it on Monday. There was a lot of drama at our school as to whether or not we were actually even going to have school for a period of time.
Wow.
It was very much like the inner workings of what I believe the Pac-12 went through as all the teams were deciding whether to stay together or abandon ship. It was a lot of back and forth, but ultimately, unlike the Pac-12, we have stayed together, and school is continuing on as such. So.
Cool.
So yeah, your background was very much reminded me of not only the inside of a traffic cone, but I feel like we did kind of like Prep Talk Live Taylor's version when I was up in Seattle, and I feel like now it's Prep Talk Live the Pumpkin Spice edition. It's fall, we're in the full effect. I'm looking at the chat, and I wasn't going to go to the chat right away. We know that Sutton's
Pony Girl and Pigs Fly and Chuck Howard, we're just entertainment for them as they talk amongst themselves.
They were already chatting when I jumped in to be like, hey, we'll be on in a couple of minutes.
They don't even really need us on anymore.
They were like, who are you? Why are you here? But Sutton's Days although we know that she is the queen of canning, and we know that she has impacted many people, Chuck just put in the chat that he also, on her recommendation, got a canner as well.
Nice.
So now two of us. Well, I mean, you also got a canner on her recommendation, but a long time ago, I think.
I've been in the canning game for a little. I'm one of the disciples of Sutton Stays.
You're a veteran. You're a long-standing.
I'm intermediate, and so intermediate that my wife took it over. So
exactly, that's mediocre. That's not intermediate. I feel like that should be a shirt. I'm mediocre, not intermediate, or vice versa, one or the other.
A lot of shirt ideas coming. Yeah,
we'll workshop it. It'll be a thing. Sutton's Days is 100% right. Like Prep Talk, why are we even we're just here to facilitate
just kind of filler. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah. Exactly.
As an OG canner, I'm not an OG. I want to say an OG canner, but a hot prospect coming up. But
hot prospect.
Yeah.
So Hottie unbuttoned his shirt for anyone who's watching at home.
I have the T-shirt underneath. Sutton Stays. It's getting hot in here. So take off all your preps.
Take off all your preps.
I am getting so hot. I gotta take my preps off. Might be the first time I've sung on the internet. That's I sing it at karaoke. The prep.
It is 100. That was a moment.
Karaoke is it's a new thing.
That was 100% a moment right there. That's fantastic. That's gonna make a great TikTok. You don't know it yet, but it's gonna make a fantastic TikTok.
I've been
Um,
posting a couple little TikToks here and there, trying to get it back in the TikTok game. Uh,
yeah, I noticed you've had some very
I
I
did
saw
batch.
Jennifer Lawrence ones.
Yeah, I had like a batch TikTok style block of time. I'm like, yeah, let me just make a couple of prepper TikTok style things, and uh,
How
but
did they do?
then I realized when I was going through my TikTok account is that I think I butt dial people in the middle of the night with random videos of I fall asleep and I somehow press the send button, and so it just sends them like the video as a recommendation. So then I looked at my inbox. I'm like, who are all these people that I've been writing like at 3 a.m. or something? And it's I think I'm sleeping on my phone or something, and then it's sending stuff and they're random videos. So I apologize to anyone that's received a random a TikTok recommendation from me that doesn't make any sense because it's
This
yeah,
is like people that shop on Amazon on Ambien and completely forget that they did stuff like
yeah,
or like drunk shopping or whatever. Like I feel like this is what you're admitting to here.
it's something
Is
like that. And
like,
I've had two people unfollow since I sent I don't know what it was. I said it was like a drumming video or something of some dude
look,
playing
what
the
you
drums.
sent me, if you had seen what you had sent me, you would have unfollowed you too. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what it is. All that.
So then
Um,
I had to spend some time the other day going through and apologizing to everyone that hey, I'm sorry. I think I butt dialed you this at 3 a.m. I slept with my phone and I don't know what this is. So
I love that your butt is sleeping with your phone on TikTok. Like all of that,
yeah,
everything about that, I think Wrangler Star's head would explode.
yeah.
I think he would I think he would just be done with you. I think he would exile you. Canadian Prepper, they would
This is
take a
not my
vote.
TikTok phone. This is an EDC phone, but I have a dedicated TikTok phone that has it's just TikTok on it because I
So
don't
wait,
trust.
so you had to in your sleep
Yes.
get out of bed, go to another spot, find your TikTok phone, turn it
No.
on, open TikTok,
No.
find random videos, send it to a bunch of random people individually, then close down your phone, put it back, and then hop yourself back into bed and go to sleep and forget the whole thing happened.
No, I had the EDC phone in there. I checked a couple messages. Then I had the TikTok phone, and then I'm trying to fall asleep, try to get my eyes tired so I can finally fall asleep. And then I guess as I'm sleeping, I'm probably on my For You page or something, which is you'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy than the For You page. But I must have just found some random video, just somehow was on my cheek or something, was pressing the send button to everyone, and I sent it to Mountain House. I sent it to
You
Mission
sent it to
Darkness.
Mountain
I did.
House.
I sent it to all these yeah, Mission
Did they take
Darkness.
it? Did they take
They,
it as like a flavor suggestion or something?
I don't know. I saw that they saw it because it said "seen" on it, and I'm like, oh crap! I gotta. There goes my rep sending random. Well, it was a
I,
good thing it wasn't like bikini photos or something, bikini videos, but it was yeah, random companies I said, and then random people. They did. Oh, I got a message from the Urban Prepper. Oh, it's this random thing I don't care about, or it makes me.
I
It was
love that you sent it to all of your like company partner people that you
yeah,
like all the business contacts. Like, hey everybody, here's a
yeah.
drumming video for
I
you
think Mira
from the
Safety
Urban
got
Prepper.
Mira Safety got one, and it was uh, and so yeah. Anyway, I haven't had anyone
Okay.
to talk to about this. Not my wife doesn't want to talk to me about these kind of things, prepper problems.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Now I have a question. Is this one of those instances that you hear about where like somebody has a phone and they've changed the names in their phone to other things to maybe hide some relationships that they don't want to have. So like,
Yeah,
did you
like
send a drumming video to Mountain House that's actually, City Prepper or
yeah,
something like that you didn't want anybody to know about?
yeah, yeah. No, I I have City Prepping as his first name, and then YouTube channel is in the phone. I just talked to him the other day. But no, I don't. I'm trying to think of what's some funny fake names for like what's Sutton's Day's fake name in my phone. Uh, I don't know. I have to think of
I
some
feel
clever.
like it should be pumpkin spice.
Yeah, pumpkin spice.
I feel like it should be pumpkin spice.
We call that a creep
Um,
phone in Chicago. That flash of
creep
light was
phone.
Tup's cred flashing out.
Well,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
my
exactly.
credibility went downhill big time with Mountain House because they
But that's okay, because
anyway.
yeah,
So sorry for talking about all that. I haven't had anyone to
no,
talk to about this. So.
I understand. We're not only a prepping thing; we're also therapy for the hosts.
Yeah, that's I yeah, we
Because
need we need
Lord
that
knows we need it.
as Pony Girl and Chuck are talking, well,
Yeah, exactly. We're just
it's kind of a
here
therapy
to
session.
facilitate and talk into the void is what we do,
Yeah.
basically. Um, so anyway, so it's school time.
Yes.
So I don't. Do we want to talk about school stuff? There was some stuff about like some summer stuff going on. How do you want to organize this a little bit?
Well,
Should we do
school's
school
starting.
stuff first?
School's starting for a lot of people, so I think that'd probably be a good one.
Prep
Uh,
therapy.
yeah.
Yeah, Sensei's called it the prep therapy.
Yeah.
Yep.
You should have one of those. I should be on those big long couches, and then you'll be in the chair, like writing
Yes.
stuff, or maybe Sutton's days could be
Okay.
the
Quick
best thing.
question though in the chat. Best
Oh,
EDC flat flashlight. Do
flat
we go
flashlight.
with your switchblade version, or do we
Today I'm
go with the
carrying
one that you actually like?
today I'm carrying the switchblade, but I can't bring it out at work because people think it's a switchblade, and I don't want to get fired. But I do like this light. I wish it was in a different color to make it not look like a switchblade. So when I'm at work and I don't bring out this flashlight, but only for emergencies. So I like the Arcfeld, the one by Olight, which is very similar to this one, and it has and my cat prefers the Olight one because it has a laser pointer on it, so I could play laser pointer with the cat. But I think this is a better light. It's just a little too big and a little too intimidating. But that's why I think that either the wedge, the Streamlight wedge, or the Olight Arcfeld are the best flat EDC flashlights.
Yes. And I have a Nebo flat one that I haven't played around with a whole lot, but I got it because I mean, come on, it was a thing that we saw and it looked cool, and so you get it.
Mhm.
And then you put it in a closet, and then you forget to actually use it or try it or do anything with it. Welcome to the story of my life. And then I've got a couple of streamlights. One of them is flat, but it's more of a keychain light. So I don't know.
Yeah.
When you're talking about EDC flashlights, I don't usually have a second flashlight on me. I usually just have the one on my keychain because it's super
Yeah.
bright.
I saw
But
that. That's in the EDC bag right there.
oh
But
yeah, yeah. The EDC
but
bag is a different thing. You know that
yeah,
you can put some more stuff into.
yeah. Oh, I had a good prepping project that I finally there were some battles with Miss Herber Prepper and I, but I finally, when she was gone for a couple hours, I filmed an updated junk drawer video and redesigned the junk drawer with modifications and proper labeling.
Lovely.
And I even updated the PDF. So now I just need to get ChatGPT to edit the video for me, so, so I can crank it out. But the junk drawer is officially clean, and it's and there's some EDC flashlights in there too. So.
I love that we're just trying to find any way to automate the process. It's like there's so much stuff that we have, and it's like the process to get it out is
Yeah.
so cumbersome that it's ChatGPT. I was actually on a thing this week that's like a boot camp of how to automate your podcast from live streaming and that sort of thing. And I was like, okay, well maybe we do that, so then it's a little bit easier. We get the episodes up a little faster or something like that.
I need a prepping intern. I need a YouTube prepper intern that
We do.
I can just do these projects to. Who's can be our
Can,
intern?
can we call Canadian Prepper or something? Can we like borrow some of their staff or someone?
It's
Someone they didn't like.
Way too expensive. Way too expensive.
Yeah, that's what we get, the person they don't like. Like, okay, look, you were not great for them, but you'll be better than nothing for us or something.
Well, because like the interns, the prepping interns, they apply at Canadian Prepper, and then they don't all get the position at the end of their internship, and so we'll just get those ones that didn't quite make
Yep.
it, but this will be a good gig, unpaid, of course, but
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
sorry, back to school preps. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I thought there was the EDC prep.
Yeah, Sutton says
school EDC, student EDC.
Yeah, so she's leading us in there. She's like, gentlemen, let's get back on topic.
Okay. You guys are rambling.
Yeah, look, it is what we do here. It's why the chat room is, basically runs the show. And
you're the first prepper I've talked to in a week, so I have to get all this stuff out. So like, no one else wants to talk to me.
No one else wants to talk about prepping, or no one else wants to talk to you. Period.
They want to talk to me, but like, please do the dishes. Did you help with so and so with their homework? But they don't want to talk prepping. They don't want to talk best flat EDC flashlight.
That's fair. That's fair. I totally understand.
But yeah, best student EDC. What do you think?
Yeah, so I've actually made. I think I have a video on student emergency kits. I was going to do an updated one or a live stream or something. the live streams seem to be helpful because it's just less editing. Like everyone,
Yes.
there's kind of an assumption that it's not going to be totally edited, but like everyone's
That's
used to
the best
like
part.
live streams now, and so it's like, okay, we'll get through it and do that. So I was going to redo the kids. There aren't a lot of modifications that I've made to my kids' kind of EDC emergency kits. I've got their Max Expedition pouches. I believe it's the beefy pouch, and we had a conversation a while ago about fat shaming pouches because there's like the
It's not cool
beefy,
to fat.
the chubby, the whatever. I
Yeah,
don't
like
know.
the hefty, the
Yeah, exactly.
plus size organizer. It's like quit fat shaming the organizer pouches. It's not right. We're beyond, we're better than this, preppers.
We're better than this, people. Yes. So yeah. So I believe it's the beefy pouch is the one that we use for them. The inside, I've got a plastic whistle for them. I've got a light stick, one of the cracking glow light sticks that I think is good just in general. I've got a headlamp for them. And I actually found there's a lot of discussion around whether to have batteries included in electronics because they can leach and have problems. But Coleman actually makes a headlamp that separates. So you can put the batteries in the container so they don't have to worry about it with little fingers. But it doesn't actually engage to start draining any power or anything until you kind of pop it together.
Hmm.
So I've got that for them to try. I've also tried some rechargeable ones here and there. But a headlamp I think is important, especially because they have little hands. And so trying to have a flashlight and move through things is not a great plan. Um, they each have a pair of leather gloves or kind of gardening gloves. And I got those from Wilco or Coastal Farm and Ranch or Amazon. There are a bunch of different versions. But I let them go when they got it to look at the aisle and pick whatever gloves they wanted. And they each pick kind of two different versions. They don't come in a lot of sizes. So that's another thing. Depending on how small your kids' hands are, you might need to make a choice on the design based on just what'll fit on their hands. But they have those. They have a single phone charger. So just a little tiny one that could charge a phone. They take phones with them to school because we go to a commuter charter school. So that way they can charge their phone if they need to until we can get to them. Um, they have power bars, like builder bars with a lot of protein in them. That was another fun that's another fun kid prep thing that you can do is do the
Mhm.
taste test of all the protein bars and let them pick. So they each got to pick which ones they wanted in their little kits. Um, they have a water bottle at school, so they have a water bottle that they carry around with them. So that kind of with their backpack, it's not part of the pouch. I think there's like five $1 bills in there in case they need it for something to buy something as we're walking home or something. There's some band-aids in there. I'm trying to think what else. I think that is it. I think.
I think it sounds
Um,
awesome.
so yeah, so that's their little emergency kits, and each of them goes in their backpacks, and then they can pull it out. And if they're going to a friend's house or something, then they can put it in whatever backpack they're taking with them.
It's a module.
Yes, they also have um, a little bit of a shield that I have put into their backpacks as well, just in case.
Yep.
Hopefully, that never is a thing that needs to be used, but it makes me feel better having it in there. So they have that in there as well.
Yeah. I think that's probably like one of the top ones to invest in for like just the current times and stuff.
Yeah.
Like and yeah, we have those too. I need to my son needs a different one because he's been using more of like a suitcase style backpack and it's not
Hmm.
conducive for that. And then I think what I used to have for them for preps, they probably are due for a updated version because it's probably all pro- the problem with the kids is that they f with my PDF and they break it all apart and then it gets
Yeah.
parted out and then it no longer is like what it was originally designed for. So but I think your kit sounds like that's kind of along the lines of what I used to have at least at one point. But I think over the grades they disassemble it and stuff gets lost and stolen and stuff. But I do
Yeah.
think having the shield, the soft shield, is it gives me peace of mind. We
Yeah.
don't do we don't do the new none of the phones. None of the kids have phones, and I told them they can't get phones until they're 18 and they could get their own phone. So,
Yeah,
uh,
exactly.
but because they have a lot of friends that are totally addicted to phones, and then like, and my son always gets mad because when he hangs out with them, they're like, "Hey, they don't talk; they're just on their phones, like scrolling." And so I see, that's why you don't have one. But we have the Apple AirTags, and
Yep.
because I'm total big brother and spy on everything. So uh, let's see what I think that sometimes the kids forget their lunch, so like having like that power bar or Cliff Bar or something is definitely good for that. Our schools, I've helped give the schools have emergency kits in each of the classrooms, which is pretty
Yeah.
cool. They have like their own bug out bags for the whole entire class with, so they have a lot already in there. So this is kind of like add on, at least at the school that we go to, but it's worth it. They get.
Yeah, which is fantastic. And our school, there was a period of time where they got emergency kind of
Mhm.
buckets. I haven't talked to the school to figure out if they still do them with the move. We moved school buildings, so I don't know if they still have it or not. That's something I should probably ask. But yeah, I think having that, and then the phones was one of those
Yeah,
uh, things that for us, especially because they were further away, making sure that they had that communication, and then also I added stuff to it like um, photos of all of the relatives. So if when
yeah,
they were younger and they couldn't necessarily describe whatever was going on, they could pull up a picture, and then some adult would know that yes, this person is a grandfather or an aunt or whoever, if, for reunification type of things like that. Um, I also had on their phones, there was an app, and I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it was an offline mapping program where you could
nice.
put specific locations in, and then if it was offline, it would use GPS to basically give them a route. So they could
Jeez.
see where our house was, they could see where their grandparents' house was, because we live very close by, but they're a little bit closer. So if they wanted to stop there first and then, go to our house or whatever, they could do
I've met your kids and they're both very advanced, so it doesn't surprise me that they have offline maps and generations and all these fancier things.
they're like 10 and 13 going on 45 and 70 or
Yeah,
something,
they're
I
old
think.
old souls.
Yeah. Sutton's
I do
days.
think that like the module approach is the way to do it
Yeah.
for the school stuff because really they're going to have their books and stuff and the laptops and their lunchbox, and those are the key things. So the best you could hope for is that they have a small little emergency module in there that they don't disassemble after a couple weeks,
Yeah,
or
I
have their
think
friends
also.
or have their friends steal the dollar bills. Which
Oh, 100%. I think also too the ability for them to take it between locations,
yeah,
because as they start to get to a certain age, now they're going to friends' houses for sleepovers, they're going to the mall or whatever, like their emergency kit now can go into a sling bag to the mall, it can go in their bag when they go to church, they can go wherever they're doing. um they have one pouch that they just make sure it gets into whatever bag they're leaving with. So it kind of becomes their little EDC. I mean, it is their EDC, but um, for whatever situation they're going to be in.
love it.
Sutton's Days as a good question. Do they know how to use it all? Because this is a thing in the prepping community. We get all kinds of fun toys and gadgets and gear and everything else, and then nobody has any idea how to use any of it. So it's always important to make sure if you're getting gear or anything that you're going to use in a kit or something, that you actually spend some time figuring out how to use it before you actually put it into service. For us, our kids know how to use all the things. We spent a lot of time when they were younger just showing them how to use it. We also tried to find things that were pretty simplistic. So there's not a lot of, the phone is complicated, but they were using their phones before, we were essentially.
Mhm.
Um, but a lot of the other things in there are very manual. They're very straightforward things, and we've practiced, making sure they knew, putting on the gloves and how to use the flashlight or the headlamp and that sort of thing. But not overly complicating it. We
Yeah.
have My son has a Leatherman multi-tool that we got for him a couple years ago, but he can't obviously take that to school because it has a very large knife on the end of it. So he doesn't really have to worry about that. But he's gotten to practice with that and play around with it. So yeah,
He's getting in knife fights at school, and that's kind
yeah.
of
Well, it was
recess.
kind of funny. There
That's
was
like
a
80s style recess.
so it was kind of funny because the way he got his knife or the multi-tool was we had been in Cub Scouts for a couple of years, and unfortunately the troop leader had a stroke and was not going to be able to continue. And unfortunately he was really the one who kind of held the troop together and managed the kids and all of that. And so there were a couple of parents who tried to substitute in, and it did not go well. The other kids were not very respectful. There weren't a lot of parents that were stepping in. So it was just kind of a mess.
Yeah.
And my son was like, well, I want to do it one more year. And I was like, why do you want to do it one more year? And he's like, because next year they get a knife. We get a knife
Okay.
as bears.
For their
And
whittling chip, they get their whittling chip. Yeah.
exactly. And I was like, okay, so how about this? How about instead of spending like $200 to be in Cub Scouts so you can get a knife, how about instead I will buy you a really nice multi-tool and we'll call it a day.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, that works. And so unfortunately the troop like completely disbanded the following year. And so, at that point he was on to other activities and other things. But yeah, so we got a multi-tool instead of a Cub Scout
Yeah,
knife.
I think doing the Scouts 10 essentials is like in Cub Scout. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's probably a good emergency kit that you could have in your uh, like what they're required to bring with them on hikes and stuff would also make for a good school EDC module. Then
Yeah. Yeah. I know my daughter also, when she was in Girl Scouts or brownies, I don't know, Girl Scout ish, Girl Scouts adjacent. Uh, so they did a whole hiking thing and did kind of a disaster emergency thing and kind of the things that you would need on a hike and that sort of. So she made her own little emergency kit in a brownies meeting and brought it in. Was very excited because she also had her own emergency kit now that she had made.
hmm
So yeah, I think
cool.
each group or any of them is a good start, but just making sure that they have kind of the essentials in case you can't get to them in some emergency situation right away. Making sure that they can be kind of self-sufficient for at least a couple of hours. I think it's also important to know how long it would take you to get to them. A lot of kids, if it's local school or neighborhood school, maybe it's a 20-minute walk, maybe it's a half an hour. But if you're on the edge of a district or you're going to a charter school or something like that, it could be an hour or 2 hours or longer to actually walk to get to them. So,
Yeah.
all right. Let's see if there's anything else in the chat.
Yeah, the chat's been going as I've been trying to follow along with some of it.
Yeah. Um, ooh, fishing club. Chuck is gonna bribe his his son to join the fishing club. Pony Girl also agrees that bribery is a great idea. And I am, as a parent, not above bribery at
Yeah.
any point at all.
I think they're talking about the address and phone numbers being memorized, which I think is good.
Yeah,
I don't think my kids have our address memorized, but they definitely have numbers memorized.
yeah. Phone numbers and address. I think is important, and that's just one of those things that you kind of practice with them. We ran into the funny thing where oftentimes, like my wife, we would use her phone number for certain things like school emergency contacts and that sort of thing, but we use my phone number for a lot of just daily stuff. And so the kids heard us use say my phone number more, and so
Mhm.
they memorized my phone number much faster than they memorized hers.
Yeah.
So we had to kind of balance that out a little bit.
See, we still have Suttons here.
Yeah,
Have
Big
you
Russ.
read the Days of Wrath? Please,
Yeah, no payphones anymore. Yeah, so that was one of the things we
like,
talked about,
yeah,
getting quarters and dimes, all that sort of stuff. We got rid of that because there's
that sounds
nowhere for
cool.
them to use it.
Yeah, Yeah, my
Um,
kids, I remember when they saw their first payphone, they're like, "What is that?" Like, "Oh,
yeah.
it's a." Like, "Oh man, I'm old now."
um,
It's weird being the same age as old people. Like,
yeah, exactly. Um, Another thing too to consider, and this depends, I think, a little bit on the age of your child. Um, and some people will be completely against this. I totally get it. But looking into some sort of a debit card that they can use. Obviously, we send a little bit of cash with them, so they have that in case. But depending on the emergency and depending where they are, there are cards that you can get that you can kind of self load as the parent. So like a green light card or green dot, I think it's either one of
mhm.
those. Um, so they have the ability, if they are out with friends and they have an emergency, if they need to buy something for some reason and it's more than the $5 you put in the emergency kit. Um, Also, it depends on the emergency because if electricity is out or anything, debit cards are going to be worthless and not do anything. But having that capability that can be managed, there are also some banks that will do just a straight up debit card if it's connected to a kid's checking account. So you can also look at that way, depending on the age of your kid, the responsibility level of your child, how understanding of how much they understand money and finance and all that sort of stuff plays into it. Um, but we've kind of been moving in that direction, so
Cool.
that's a conversation we've been having with other parents. Um,
Love it.
let's see. Yeah, do what I can. And
Yeah,
anytime I
I was
can
like,
do
"Oh man,"
something as
I
tough
was listening.
as
I was like, "Yeah, this really comes good speech. It's good,
yeah,
good speech."
yes.
I don't have anything to say after that.
For everyone who's enjoying my monologue, we put a little clapping emoji or something in the chat room or something. Okay, let's see. OMG, Pony Girl. What did Pony Girl say? My
I throw
mom.
some bribery.
Okay, yeah, my mom bribed me by offering me a bird to quit the violin. It worked. Guess I was pretty bad. Look, I'm not saying that you were pretty bad, but the bird makes a lot of noise, I would think.
Yeah,
So
I eat birds.
yeah, so if the bird was a better option than the violin, I don't know what that says, but I feel like it says something. I feel like it says something. Perhaps that's something that you and your prepping therapist should look into. Um, let's see. Tractor Supply actually take a credit card during a power outage. They write down the number on the form, and charge will go through later. That is an interesting.
Hmm.
I think that's an interesting thing because on the one hand, I think there would be people who would really like that because it would allow them to get supplies in an emergency and feel like they're not, stealing or anything like that. On the other hand, I don't know how comfortable certain people, especially without making a lot of generalizations or things, I would
Yeah, no way.
say,
No way.
yeah, in if you're going to like a Tractor Supply, I think a lot of people that shop at Tractor Supply, like, you know, we have Coastal Farm and Ranch, we have Wilco, we have a lot of the farm stores. Um, I feel like there is a lot more um, worry about security and privacy and that sort of stuff. Oftentimes in line at those stores, I'll see a lot more people actually paying with cash or checks than I do really anywhere else that I shop. So I think that would be an interesting. Um, so now, Chuck, is that do they do that? Does it happen frequently, or because there's also kind of a different sort of community feel, I think, when you're shopping at a lot of those stores than when you're shopping, for example, like at Best Buy or Target or something like that. It seems like the cashiers, the managers that are in each of those stores tend to know a lot more of the customers than for example, at Target, where they, I don't even know that they know who their employees are, let alone like who the people shopping there are. Let's see.
Sun's Days has left the building, by the way. Just
Sutton's Days left the building.
yes, let me. I'll
Oh,
button
okay.
up. I'll button up. It's getting
Okay. Yeah.
not
Yeah.
hot
Yeah.
anymore. Let me
Yeah.
button it up.
Exactly. Okay.
Okay, there we
Well,
go.
thank you, Sutton's Days, for joining us again. We appreciate your patronage of our lovely little live stream and podcast. Um, Pony Girl's poor bird left. She left the door open and flew away. So she got you the bird as the bribe and then just happened to leave it. Was it a wild bird? Was this a pigeon or something like that? Like, were you young enough that she was like, oh, look, I got you a bird. And it was like a duck from a pond. And then she just put it in a cage and then left the door open. And then there you go. Yeah, it seems like that could be a thing. Let's see. Chuck says he's done it. He did it twice last year. And he could have done cash, but he wanted to see how it worked. Did it work well? I think is the big question with that one. I think if it, I could see that going either way, but I think it's also, there's a certain element to it that I think is cool nowadays. You know, if you have a store like that where there is trust between everyone to actually do that, I think that is a pretty cool thing. I don't know that I would do it, but I think it's a pretty cool thing that could exist. All right. I'm just looking at the chat real fast. Because we're a little longer than I think we were planning to. And I've got to go get dinner, and you have to, come out of the pumpkin spice traffic cone and into something else. Something else.
I saw someone said, "Pup, where have you been?" Well, I've been here.
He's here.
Casey and I do a weekly for Prep Talk Live. We're on episode 68, and we do that. He hosted on his channel, on the Got Preps channel, and then I think I posted it on Facebook today, Judy. But on the main channel, I have a video that kind of talked a little bit about that. I just need a little break. So
yeah, he needed a break, and so he comes and hangs out with me because I'm way more fun. I'm way more enjoyable than everything else.
It's
exactly, and as you can see, he's trapped in the traffic cone, and we're working to get him out.
They're not letting me out of here.
We've been trying for months.
Room for preppers.
Mrs. Tupp has had enough, and she was like, "Look, I will let you speak to the outside world once a week for a half an hour or so, and in the meantime, you'll be in this little padded orange room."
Yeah, Mrs. Tupp she's having a big battle right now with deer, and she it's not like we're in a rural environment where you could just take care of them once and for all. So she's now her latest thing is she has this bear grease that she's using for the deer, and someone said that helps deter them, but others say, oh, they're gonna, once they realize there's no threat, then they're gonna forget about it. But so that's her latest thing. But I'm kind of curious how it turns out, because I've never seen bear grease before.
Is it made from actual bears?
Yeah, it's made from bears. Like, I guess greasy bears. I don't know.
Who's the guy who goes out and harvests the bear?
Yeah, they're like, he has a greasy bear farm with only the greasiest of the bears.
Greasiest of the bears. Hey, Steve, take your bucket. Go find, there's 7 greasy bears out there.
Yeah, I was going to show you one of the photos of
Kyle did it last week, but as you know, it didn't go well for him. So we've got you now.
It looks like that. It's like, it's grease. It's made of the greasiest bears in North America.
The greasiest of bears.
And the deer is like, oh no, there's a greasy bear here. I got to stay away from these things. So I guess that's what happened.
If it was a regular bear, it wouldn't be a big deal. But the greasy bears, those are the ones you have to be concerned about.
Super shady.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to. I'm looking forward to then hearing how the battle with the greasy bears.
Yeah, I'll keep everyone posted.
Very specific deers are, and yeah, and I think we call it a night. I think we've had a good show. I think we've done all the things.
We still got the we can still do it. We still got it, even at our age. We're improv.
We're fantastic. And we may do like we were talking like next week. We may do Fridays. We may do Wednesdays. We may do solos on Wednesdays or Fridays to kind of let everybody know what's going on. So keep an eye out. And we'll have more information later. The podcast, if you are a podcast person, check that out. We've got, I think there's 65 or 66 episodes. I've been kind of trickling them out as they go. We passed 1,000 downloads the other day, so I think we're 1,500 or something. Don't tell casual preppers. I don't want them to feel threatened with their 5 million downloads that they were celebrating last
Casual
week.
preppers are pretty good. Those guys are good. They're
Yeah,
really good.
yeah, we need to call them and get the. We've talked about doing a collab.
They banned me
They
because I sent them an inappropriate video on TikTok, and they banned me.
Well, okay, awesome. Well, then that explains it. That's what's happened
That's
there.
what happened.
Yeah,
I sent them a Canadian prepper TikTok video, and then they're like, "I have to ban this guy."
they were like, "What? The world is ending again?"
Yes,
Yesterday.
stop. It's
Yeah,
3 a.m. Quit sending me these videos.
yeah, exactly. We know the world is ending. It's ended 8
I
times
sent them
since lunch.
I think I didn't send a Wrangler style one. The guerrilla warfare stuff. Here's how to break the law legally.
Yeah, exactly. Here's our friends in the prepping world. I love them so much.
Yeah.
I need to ask. I'm going to try to reach out to Wrangler Scar and see if I take him to lunch because I think he lives not close by,
close.
but I think he comes into Portland every once in a while, and so I'm
He and his
wondering
wife
if
are very nice. I met him one time years ago for a beer over in Pike's Place Market. So he was having a little gathering there. So
Oh, okay. It was like a meet and greet or something.
it was a meet and greet. Yeah.
And you got to, were you meeting and greeting, or were you with he there for your, I don't know. You guys have so
I was
many.
there for him. I'm like, oh, Wrangler Star's in town. I'm gonna swing by that brewery and check it out.
Oh my goodness. So the podcast name, Brian, is Prep Talk Live. It's the same as the show. We wanted to make it super easy. So go ahead, check it out. Leave us a 5-star review. We have a lot of people that are listening. We don't have a lot of reviews. So if anybody is willing to go on and do a 5-star review, because you love us as much as that, if you want to give us a 4-star review, fine. I feel like if you're going to give us a 1-star review, just DM us with your complaint and we will do our best to fix it. But we'd love the
customer service line that they could reach out to.
Yeah, exactly. We send you right to Canadian Preppers old interns. Yes. And they will let you know how the podcast also is ending any minute. That's what happens. So thanks everybody for joining us. We'll be back next week, maybe later this week. Stay tuned, and thanks for joining. Talk to you later. Bye, everybody.